Even if you don't know this woman's name, you certainly know her work. Her TV credits include Soul Food, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Moesha, and Family Matters. And that's just to name a few of her productions. Now she's breaking new ground in the film industry with her new film, The Rebel Girls. Joining me is director, writer, and producer Felicia D. Henderson. Felicia, so thank you so much for joining us here on Black Nouveau. First off, let me just ask you, just talk about this film, The Rebel Girls, and what inspired you to make it.
Thank you so much for having me. First of all, I appreciate this time with you. And thank you. So the Rebel Girls, I call it my heart work because it is the first time I've done work that I love. I've been privileged to do things that I really care about and have been fulfilling and fun. But the Rebel Girls is a whole new level for me because it's the first time I'm like, I have to tell this story. Meeting the real women. I think from the first time I read the first article, because I didn't know about the story before, my friend Sarah Finney Johnson introduced me to the story, and I didn't know it. And so I was inspired by the story, as I was inspired by how many hours I found myself, doing a deep dive to learn more about these women and to say, why don't I know this story? And everybody should know this story. And by the time I met some of the survivors in person and spent time with them, and my heart was so full, I knew that I would do anything I had to get this story told.
So talk about what you want people to take from this story.
Yeah, you know what? I really want, it's very much contemporary in that way. Yes, it's set in 1963, but the goal is not for you to take like a historical look back. The goal is for you to sit with it right now. The goal is for anybody who watches it to go, wow, if those girls could do that, I can do anything. If those girls can, whoever you are, male, female, black, white, for everyone, if you have a dream, if you have a goal, if you don't know your own strength, hopefully watching these girls will remind you that, it's not so much about where you find yourself right now. You can go anywhere that you let you and your big brain decide that you can go. So that's really what it is about. And it's also to tell, hidden history that we are missing. We often get to tell the stories or hear the stories or watch the stories of the great men of history, but rarely do we tell enough stories about the great girls and the great women and the children of the civil rights movement. Their story hasn't been told in film and television, and arguably they helped reinvigorate a movement that was waning before the children started to march. Children as young as 10 years old, by the thousands, are the reason that national attention came back to the movement.
So we've talked a little bit about the work you've done, given some of your titles and your credits. Where does this sit among what you've done? What else makes it special and unique compared to everything else that you've done?
Mm. In some ways, I feel like everything I've done has led me to this moment. Because I started in sitcoms, right? You named some of them. Um, on a serious drama, I always am going to find some comedy. It is just in my bones. There's always going to be some comedy. So that led me to this, doing a show like Soul Food, because these girls become very much a family when they're locked up. So that has led me to this. I've done more recently Empire, The Punisher, my last show on Netflix, which was First Kill. All of these things, whether they be action or complicated characters, um, they've led to this. And of course, I also directed this. This is my, film directorial debut. It's the first one. So all of it has led to this. And so where this sits is probably, even though it's a short film of 22 minutes, it's my biggest accomplishment yet.
So what's next after this big accomplishment?
Well, now we've got to find a home for the bigger accomplishment. Again, this is a 22-minute film, and yes, it is a standalone thing that works on its own, but it's not the end. It was never the goal for it to be the end. The next step, rather that be a series on television or a feature film, we're starting to get interest in both, so we have to decide. but the goal is to tell the full story of these girls that we just start the story with in the short film.
While we have a minute left, is there anything else you want to share about the film or this work in particular?
I would say I'm very, very proud of this film. We have done so well. We have won like 7 of the 9 festivals that we have been in. We've been nominated for a Humanitas Award. We're now in Oscar contention. So I would love people to just share the word about it, to see it when it screens in your town. And just to know that it really is for everyone. It really is contemporary. It really is so that I can inspire even you watch it, and I want you to know, God, like this is where I am and it's pretty cool, but I can go anywhere I want to go from here.
Amen to that. Felicia, thank you so much for joining us here on Black Nouveau.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it, and happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays.